Alright everyone, welcome to Hatch Day for Farthest Frontier. For those of you who don't know, this is a village builder. Kind of similar to Banished, but definitely expanded upon. It's been, what, about a decade since that game came out, so... game's still in early access, but they've been pretty good, I think, on updating it. They just dropped another update that's supposed to basically help avoid running out of resources in terms of minables. So I'm actually going to do a Trailblazer instead of Vanquisher. What I really want... do a large map. What I really want is to immediately get to the deep mines, but they are tier 4, which actually takes a while to get to. So this will actually take a little bit. I think the... usually the mountains are the best place to find minables. So maybe we'll go... something like that. Excuse me, something like that. Canterbury, Fellmouth, Raidersville. Whatever. That sounds good. Pacifist mode. Don't really remember what that is. Yeah, we pretty much want stuff. I'm actually gonna. Oh wait, this is just starting resources. Yeah, this isn't. We're just gonna do medium for all of this. Starting out, I'm gonna skip this.
Can be hot.
It's basically just like life sucks, so we're gonna go do our own thing. We're gonna make our own town, and that makes sense. Respect for that. So you're gonna start pretty much like most village builders, handful of people, handful of resources, and not much else. There's, as you saw, raiders in this game, so eventually you will start getting raided. You'll need defenses, so can't focus too much. In the beginning, you're just focused on like food for the first year or two, but you can't let yourself just completely forget about raiders, because they will come and they will steal whatever is of value, and usually that's your food in the beginning, which will actually really screw you because you won't be able to feed your people. So it does seem to be loading a little faster. This game did have loading issues. There were a lot of complaints when this game first dropped in early access that loading was taking too long, and because of the nature of early access, people would have to reload games a lot, and they would have to sit in the screen. As you saw, I do not run a beefy computer at all, by the way. I think I have a 1060, which is far from... I mean, even when I got it, it was kind of middle tier. So far from top of the line. In the beginning, again, you will plop down your sort of town hall. It shows you a lot. It shows you pretty much the whole map. Oh, never mind, I lied. Yeah, no, it does, actually. It shows you pretty much the whole map. From what I remember, this will actually shrink down to just sort of the local area. Water's pretty much useless other than fishing, and it's cool to have, you know, fish. It's, like, fun from a visual standpoint, but I seem to not get as much out of fishing, both because in the winter you can't fish, but also just no. Oops, I can't actually click. I don't know, I just don't get as much as I do from hunting. So scouting out the materials, we've got iron here, sand, more iron, it's gold, sand. So that mountain's good. Hit F to show fertility. This will be pretty much one of the only pockets. So, not terrible. Actually, this looks like it might be kind of nice, because if we put something here, we're sort of close to resources and close to the little available farmland we have. So, oh wow, that is a big rock. I think that's new. And then, yeah, we have something here. Oh, here's what the deep mines look like. So you see this infinity. I've never... oh, it's like sparkling too. It's cool. So I've never actually seen that. Like I said, it'll take a while to actually get to the ability to access deep mines. Because I did pop in just to see what they looked like, and it was a tier 4, which... getting to tier 4, one of my sort of gripes with the game was just the way in which you do that is by having houses upgraded, and the main blocker to that is desirability. So you just end up building a bunch of gardens everywhere, and it's just kind of like whatever. So this is like a mobile storehouse. It's what you start with, but it just sort of stays forever. I don't think it ever like deconstructs. So first order business, building houses. Can't do that until the town hall is finished. And if I remember correctly, we won't even have necessarily enough wood to finish town hall. So I'm going to speed it up and have them start constructing. Probably shouldn't have had them build the roads first, but have them construct the town hall. We'll need 16 wood and about 6. I guess this will give us probably 2 or 3. So they'll need to cut down a few trees. Post town hall, we'll get. I think it's four people per house starting. So 1, 2, so like 4 houses. That'll give us both enough for the people, but also a little bit of room to grow. And then we'll immediately start tackling the food issue. We have 9 months of food, which seems like a lot, but it definitely ain't. And you need to make sure food production. I think they start. I guess this says they don't have. I know this is just the housing logo. That's why I don't recognize it. I think they start with warm clothes, so you don't need as much firewood in the first winter. But similar to other games, firewood for the winter as well as food are like the 2 things that will trip you up in the beginning. So that'll be first point of order. And as I'm talking, I didn't even notice we finished the town hall. So you can fit 2. I like to do crisscross roads. You know, this is your town center, so I like to have a lot of road access. That's annoying that it's too steep already, but constructed by road, interesting. We are playing the Alpine map. The idyllic valley is really good, but I did pop into that, and I didn't. The only deep mine I saw, like really anywhere on the map, was clay. And I would love, and maybe I'm running into the opposite issue here. Actually, now that I think about it, because I don't actually think I saw any clay, which is a bummer. Clay is really good early in the game, but if you can get a lot of iron production going, and we'll need a well. A lot of iron production going, you can like trade for anything. So, well, obviously important. People will get dehydrated. It shows up as a disease in this game, and they will die. Understandably, need water. Even though there's water here, some other games, like the other village builder I've been playing off and on for the last couple of years, is Austrieve. And Austrieve you can just build like a little dock that people will just walk out onto and use buckets. But in this game, the only way to get water is a well. And I played this a few months ago. I think they did something to the well system because I need to build like a dozen wells. So more people away, amass a 4-month supply and 6 houses. Okay. Don't really want to take on more people necessarily. This does reduce desirability. So, planning, again, to put the sort of farms here, and then we'll probably put industry sort of out here. So you see this desirability, for those who don't know. Desirability is one of the... yeah, maybe I need to deselect. Yeah, there we go. This is one of the biggest... It's really the main factor that goes into whether or not a house will upgrade. It's this bar right here. And when you want to upgrade... right now it's just straight up building houses, but when you want to upgrade tier 3, tier 4... you need to have upgraded houses, and those houses need to be hitting these desirable. It's just a really, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to some degree, but again, it's just like plopping down a bunch of gardens. There's a few other buildings that will naturally increase desirability, like schools or the market, but for the most part, you can't get away from sort of using up your, in my opinion, using your space inefficiently by just building a bunch of gardens, because I like to try to just like go from a village into a nice big town or kind of a city. And when you think about city slums, they're like tall, for these guys, you know, this time period would be 3 or 4 story buildings would be considered tall. Rich people don't really want to live there, considering there's, you know, 30 people living in that space. So, but it's a trade-off. Games in early access, that could obviously change, but So we are being told we need to cut down some more trees. One thing about early migration that is really good is having a lot more laborers. Right now we have 100% laborers, but starting when this is complete, we'll start to be shaving off people for jobs like hunting or wood splitting or etc. So yeah, we can build hunter cabin. I think we saw it down here somewhere. I don't know why there was deer. Go ahead and explore. I'm pretty sure it was down there. Make sure we are sped up appropriately. And another thing I don't think you get on this map compared to the... Oh, there it is wicker, and wicker is used to make baskets, which just everybody will get. Like, all of your citizens will get it. And it really helps with transporting goods around and such, so... go ahead and just put that there. That doesn't actually reduce desirability, so no problem there. I will start connecting everything to roads. I do tend to build in sort of a boxy shape, so you can make curved roads, like you saw. So if you want to make a nice pretty town that's just sort of going for more aesthetics, I just immediately tend to try to go for the biggest sort of industrialized city I possibly can. But yeah, you can definitely make some pretty cool and good-looking villages here. So yeah, they're cutting that down. Kind of would like them to go faster, so I might jump a little bit ahead of what I would normally do from an immigration standpoint. We need water. I can get water, so I'm guessing they just haven't stocked it yet. Yeah, stockpiling, okay. As fast as this is, I mean, this is the max speed it goes. I do kind of wish it would go faster, but perhaps that's just the impatience. That's just my impatience. Yeah. And unlike some, I don't know, I haven't played all city builders, village builders, but pretty much everything needs firewood to be kept warm. These guys, the hunter's cabin doesn't actually really prepare the meat. You need to build a smokehouse. This does impact desirability, so you really want, like, in a big way. So you definitely want this to be a good distance away. I need stone for that guy, so mark this as need for harvest. We do have some. I guess we brought some with us in our cart. Interesting. They just left a bunch of stone around. This is a tiny coal deposit. 6,500 ain't bad. Yeah, this is a good amount of ore, but we did see there was some down here. Oh, maybe it was a coal deposit. Maybe I didn't see a deep iron deposit, but in any event, coal is used, I guess, in steel. I don't really remember. Oh, you need it to make iron, period. Okay. I thought you could use firewood, but I guess you can't. Makes sense. I think there is a charcoal. Yeah, this looks like a charcoal. Yeah, so you can, but it obviously... I think it just produces coal, though. I don't think there's a difference between charcoal and coal in this game. Yeah, anyway. We need more stuff for harvest. Okay. And I'm trying to select kind of like little pockets of trees so that stuff regrows. I read that someone also mentioned that work camps are better. They used to not be very good, at least in my opinion. Now they can, I think, upgrade to a tier 2, and they replant trees to make it a bit faster for trees to grow. Excuse me, so you don't like run into wood issues. Yeah. But we will wait for these folks to finish up. We've got plenty. Oh, we have no food though. Yeah, Did I? I might actually have bricked this already. I might have bricked this already. Yeah. And you do need to set where the hunters actually go. That might have been part of it. They haven't actually hunted anything yet. But even when they do, they then need to go to the smokehouse. So yeah, this may have. I may need to restart this. Tragically. Let's see if he finds. Looks like he found something. This will need to get stocked, though, with firewood first as well. So, we'll see. We've got no food in the middle of winter. For some reason these guys are... Maybe they're technically too far away from the well? I don't know. Seems kind of weird. I think they're probably just too busy because everyone's working, doing something. They haven't been able to stock their shelters. But yeah, if we start seeing people die, we'll probably just need to restart. They do have firewood. And they do have... I mean, I saw him hunt something. He delivered? Did he just deliver something? He's butchering the meat. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And actually, with that, I might as well build a gatherer foraging shack. Oh, there's some wicker. Okay, so we do have a little bit baskets, but right now we are, like, in dire need of food. So I'm gonna put it here for now. We're definitely gonna need to move it later. One nice thing about this game is you can move basically any building. Yeah, they have no food. So might need to restart, but you could move pretty much any building. And I think they actually finally made it. So yeah, you can actually relocate the town hall. That was one of the things that you couldn't move. That and graveyards. Graveyards kind of make sense. Most games, I think, don't let you move a graveyard if you can relocate buildings at all. Most just, or some make you disassemble or, you know, demolish. All right, so they have a little bit of meat, but they need 20. Should have gotten at least 20. Maybe they're eating raw meat because they are that hungry. I already built this, so we'll set it here. I guess the berries haven't popped up quite yet. And we might... Yeah, I'm gonna build another hunter's cabin. I mean, we just need to focus on food. I was, I kind of misremembered exactly how much food the hunter's cabins produce. But maybe, I don't know, maybe in a previous playthrough I had boar, because it looks like boar carcasses do give you a whole lot more meat than deer does. Though they are more dangerous to hunt. So, assuming we don't have to restart, and it looks like it was probably starvation or something. That's why she's lower health. I think it's a bit early to start on a farm. Mainly because it won't be ready this year, and it's going to take a ton of effort. Creating a farm takes... So you saw some of these buildings took like 30 or 40 kind of worker units or whatever hours. Farms take, what I remember, 3,000 or 4,000 or something like that. So, not worth it in the beginning. Looks like the berries are up and running, so they can start harvesting. Yep, which they're doing. So maybe we'll make it. We'll be kind of on a shoestring level of food here, but fingers crossed. These hazelnuts, okay. Could also build a fishing shack. Might as well. I am curious if I'm sort of misremembering. So this one, no, this one. I am curious if I'm misremembering exactly how much food these produces, because I really don't remember it being that great. And I think that's the work area that I can reset also. So plop that down there. We'll need to get a few more trees. Actually, I kind of want to remove these. Looks like we're still not able to get meat. I think people are probably just eating it too quickly as it's raw. But it doesn't actually... I don't remember. I don't think this game has like a calorie sort of difference between like between food or between how much people consume. I don't actually know, but in other games, like the way they would do it, they would punish you for consuming raw meat. Other than sickness, is sort of calorie intake was significantly lower. So you definitely wanted to have a stable food supply going into a smokehouse and producing smoked meat, because that would both avoid sickness but also sort of enhance and reduce the amount of food every person needed. Sadly, it looks like we're already sort of hunting these guys to extinction. But we did see some deer down here. That is a large rock. That is definitely new. I do not ever remember seeing anything close to that size. These were like the larger ones. You know, like 32 or 40 or 50. Maybe 32 was actually the biggest. Eggs, willow, more iron. No, they're already gone. That's a bummer. Yeah, we'll set. So you can see in the bottom, it kind of shows you approximately. I think if you have overlapping, it actually severely degrades it. But as opposed to here, where you have like a specific sort of number, you don't really seem to run out of fish. You just have deeply inefficient fisheries. But if you look at our food now, it is very much where we want to see it. So now we have people who are ready to immigrate, and we will say yes, because we have both the housing and the food. Our food might not look so great soon, so I think now would be a decent time to really start thinking about farming. And I tend to do bigger farms. I was talking to somebody yesterday, told me that he plays a game a lot more than I do. He was saying like it used to be, I think he said 5x10 was the best, and then he got it down to like 5x5s, and those were really good. But I don't know. I just go with big farms. I played this game when it released, and since then I've never had a problem. Every sort of I'll come back and play when they drop new content, and I've never had like a food issue once I get farming up and going. So we're gonna stick with a big farm, 10x10. You 1000% need fences covering the entire thing, which takes a lot of wood and time. But deer, although I mean, I honestly think the game will just spawn them in, because even though there aren't very much deer around, deer will just come in and eat all of your crops very quickly, and there's like nothing you can do about it. So it's both very annoying and frustrating, but also can be just brutal in terms of starvation, because folks can't eat what the deer eat. And it gets annoying also. There's some minor annoyances that you'll start to see more so when raiders come. They'll break a part of the fence, and then like the deer will just swarm in and eat everything. And even if there's just one little gap, the AI, the game devs have definitely programmed the deer to be like wheat-seeking missiles, basically, and just they will eat absolutely everything. So something to keep in mind. And we'll wait for a little bit here. And they'll get the fence up and going, and then yeah, you'll see And we have. And you'll start to see what I was talking about with it taking just an absolute ton of man hours, which makes sense. But the biggest thing is also that they can't. It takes a ton of man hours to get the farm up and running, and they can't do it in winter because the ground is too hard. So it definitely won't be ready this year, and it probably won't even be ready next year because by the time it's done, it'll be sort of around late spring, early summer, maybe if we're lucky. And that will, yeah, see, you already can't do anything. And it'll be basically past sowing season, so probably won't be able to actually get anything out of it, sadly. But not a big deal. Hopefully not a big deal, I should say. That assumes that the deer don't run out. I mean, I don't think that they can fish at this point. I don't know why the fish icon went away. Maybe because it's winter. Hopefully. 54 fish, and I think it's 1-to-1 on the smokehouse, right? Yeah, so we'll see. We are now in winter, and this is kind of annoying. I might have to move this wall. I don't know why. I've never seen this before. This might be new. I'm messing around a little bit, and I don't ever remember this being. It's 54. Yeah, like it really needs to be over here, honestly. Like moving it one tile closer is just kind of pointless. 67. It's on 77. Like. Maybe I do just to like get these people to stop freaking out over the water. We'll see. We'll move it over here and see if we see a noticeable difference. Sometimes if there's only like two, no, there's 4. I was gonna say if there's only 2 people in the house, sometimes they are sort of too busy to stock their shelter, but they usually prioritize getting food and water to their shelter to some degree. So, yeah. I don't exactly know, but we've got enough food through winter, I believe. And I think we have a bunch of raw food still to process. No, not that much. We have another 20 meat to process. Yeah, it looks like they are out of animals to hunt up there, so. And this might get a little difficult, because we will need a stopgap before our farm comes online. Probably, honestly, need 2 farms, but... Anyway, it's heating up now. We'll get a... And I guess we could also get another forager going. Maybe that's the move. Just get a forager up, and we can delete it later. Yeah, look, this takes a tremendous amount of time, so I don't know if it'll be ready. Farming in this game, I think they're fairly similar to other games. The one thing I wish is that they do it on 3-year intervals. I wish they would do it on 4, because I tend to build grid farms, so like this will have... I mean, this one might not actually, because this will kind of snake this way. But normally, on the other map where you have more fertile soil, I would do a grid. And I might still, because you can build a... Resources, probably? Yeah. A compost yard, which increases fertility. So I might actually be able to sort of like, almost like terraform this area. And then, but when you do a grid and when you build or when you grow crops of the same type next to each other, diseases will like spread between fields. So you want to like make sure you're growing something different in every field. And that's easier when you have 4 years of options instead of 3, because then literally all 4 can be doing something different. But in any event, maybe they'll add that in the future. But yeah, it's already it's mid-spring apparently. Seems unlikely that they will finish the field, so probably good to get a little bit more foraging up and running. So we'll go here. Looks like these have a lot of eggs. So I don't know how much. 17 eggs doesn't seem like that much. But we'll see. We'll see. So normally I would do, like in the past, find like a clay pit, and the first sort of uh, industry, I guess you could call it, that I would put up would be pottery, because you can sell that a decent amount. You get a clay pit, and I think it's also, yeah, in tier 2. Pretty easy to make, and certain traders will like kind of overpay, or they'll pay more than it's worth, and you can use that to get your you can use that to get your early tools and iron, because like getting iron is the first step, but then you need to like get a smelter to turn the iron ore from the camp into iron, and then turn the iron into tools. Oh, heat wave. Oh, we don't care, we don't have crops. So yeah, this is I guess water supply, but I guess moving the well seemed to work. But yeah, just to start building tools, it takes multiple buildings, and it looks like, yeah, you need even tier 3. You need tier 3 for all of it. Do you need, where's this? Was that the smelter? Foundry. Yeah, so both foundry and blacksmith, and tier 3 is not impossible or anything, but getting to tier 2 on your town hall is very easy. Getting to tier 3 is like a lot more work, and at that point you start having to worry about raiders and other stuff. So the game, in my opinion, hits a lot more complexity after tier 2. Tier 1, you're literally just like, can I survive? Oh god. Oh, knife fight, knife fight. Ooh, she almost died. He retreated. Oh, it's a wolf. Oh, is there a wolf den somewhere? Interesting. Well, they can make this... I don't know how much meat it provides. Gotta imagine it provides at least as much as a deer. Hopefully as much as a boar, but I don't know. Considering somebody almost died for that. I don't think wolves would have as much meat as a boar, actually, but gameplay, it would make sense. It would be nice. So yeah, food's actually going pretty well. Or I guess harvesting has been pretty solid. Yeah, because when you look at protein, meat, I guess it still is like meat and fish are the mainly meat is really how we're getting by. Yeah, it has a nice graph system on this game. I don't know if you like getting into the sort of like data or metrics and stuff like that. I tend to like put a premium on that, or really like that more in the later game when you're looking for efficiency. When changing a few things can make the difference between 1 month of food and like 12 months of food, just because, or making 1,000 pots versus 400, because your scale is just much bigger. The game graphically, or sort of lag-wise, is pretty good in the beginning. Like I said, I'm not on a really robust computer, but once you get to like 300, maybe 3 to 500, I don't remember where, and we'll see. It does start to lag a bit. Performance does suffer. I mean, at some point you would expect it to. I've gone up to 1,000 plus citizens in the past, and it was slow. It wasn't completely unbearable, but it definitely got laggy, and I guess it depends on what unbearable means to you. But for me, it was more of like, yeah, this is annoying, but also I'm like really invested in this town I built, so I'm willing to deal with it. So yeah, here's what I was talking about. You get 3 years instead of 4, which I would like. You have like 3 factors, they call it, variables to deal with. Fertility, which constantly decreases basically unless you add compost to it. Weeds, which can be managed both by working the field and growing, what is it, clovers, I want to say. Weed suppression 6, yeah, so kind of. And then rockiness is also just handled entirely by digging. I don't fully understand. I don't quite remember, but I think rockiness just kind of goes down to 0 eventually, which it should. Like, eventually you basically, anyone who's done any kind of growing will tell you, once you till a field or till a bed, you're like, rocks don't just sort of sprout out of nowhere. So there might be a few small stones or whatever, but when you get like large rocks, which are a problem for root systems or whatever. Anyway, yeah, first year, just doing this. Obviously, in no position to grow anything. We're gonna grow. So peas are good in the kind of early because it's colder, and then these are good for for heat tolerance later. And then I won't be it can't fit, yeah. And I won't be doing any wheat right now because you need to build a mill to mill it into flour, and then you need a bakery. And it's just like, for one, those are tier 2, which I don't quite have, but I will soon. But also, just kind of pointless. I don't remember bread doing very much. Bakeries are nice because people like them. They increase desirability a little bit, but I don't remember them being incredible from a food perspective. So maybe it was. Grain is nice because you can store it in. It's really good storage. Like, food spoilage is a big thing in this game. I think they toned it down a bit because people were complaining, but this is pre-refrigeration days. I don't know exactly when this is supposed to be set, but we're just gonna go ahead and drop some leaks in for the following year. But yeah, pre-refrigeration. So like, I mean, stuff's gonna go bad. It doesn't stay good forever. It doesn't stay good for a very long period. You can you get to make some barrels and some better storage later in the game. And one reason that it's nice for these deep mines, wherever they were, I guess it was down here, these new like unlimited deep mines, is like coal and iron and stuff. Like, obviously you just want a lot of it, but for me, I was always running out of sand because you use sand to make glass and glass to store for preserves for better food storage, but they never recycle the glass. I think they just eat the glass bottles or whatever. So you end up running out of sand really quickly. So first up, I believe is like a saw. I think a saw pit sort of unlocks everything. I can't even build that yet. What do I need? Storage. Okay. So we will build stockyard. I think, again, industry is going to be around here, so we'll kind of put this in between. That slope is too steep. So yeah, the slope will start to be annoying now, but you can kind of flatten terrain. I messed around with it a little while ago, but I don't really want more people right now, I don't think. But I wasn't really great at getting the slopes correctly. I wasn't really great at getting that system to work. So oh, this is another wolf. This is another wolf. So there's a den somewhere. Alright, well, they took care of it, so that's good. There's a den somewhere. Should probably find it at some point. But we need now, as I was looking, we do not have. We're just full. Interesting. We do not have any trees being cut down, which we will need for healthy supply of firewood. In fact, and they added here, yeah, nice. They added a production quota, so you don't like chew through all of your. I mean, for me, it was always less for wood. I mean, it's annoying, but you can just chop down trees to get logs. It was actually the firewood. Once you get industry going, everyone uses firewood for stuff, and then all of a sudden winter hits and you have like no firewood, and it takes too long to cut down trees, and people start dying. So we'll put in a quota of 120. I think though that when the quota hits. Oh, nice, it does. I thought it was just going to stop them from working, but it actually kind of boots them out. And so they go back into like the general labor pool. We don't have that many laborers, so maybe we will actually build 1 or 2 houses. Our food situation ain't bad. We're heading into winter now with the 8-month food spoil. I'll call it a 6-month because there's 2 months of spoilage, and I don't know. It doesn't really tell you when the 2 months is going to spoil. It could be literally the next 2 months. It could be, so it says over the next 12 months, but it could be literally the next 2 months. 2 months of food spoils, or it could be in 10 months, 2 months spoil, or whatever. A villager has died. Illness. That's not great. Why did they die? Disease. Oh. Okay. Do we have medicinal roots? I don't think we do, and I don't remember seeing any. But you need to get to at least tier 2, I believe, for like an apothecary shop. Predators. Manufacturing storage is full. Oh. Can this store fish? It can. So yeah, we need to store all items. So this does, I guess, by default. I didn't know that this by default, which makes sense, but I thought, so by default, I guess this does reduce spoilage. I thought you had to get barrels in order to do it, but it doesn't look like that's the case, so we're actually going to build one. And we are going to continue harvesting some trees. And I guess, oh crap, we need to build a graveyard now, because that body will just sort of sit there. So maybe we put a little graveyard at the top of the hill. And salute to our fallen comrades. It's not easy to start a new city. I wouldn't imagine. Not having any experience with it myself. But I don't mind playing a top-down god and telling them what to do, but the thought of having to do this in real life would be rough. Yeah, so this will be first year of growing crops. Weed levels going down. I don't know. These actually don't suppress weed basically at all. So I think this will be like a half harvest, but considering it's such a big field, I mean, like half of our people are farmers just to farm this field basically. Not quite, but about a third. Because of that, though, even a half harvest will be good enough, and we probably won't even eat it. And we're in a good spot. Like normally, our fishermen have been coming in clutch. I remember it being not as good, but maybe I just didn't have as good a spot in previous games. But when you start cutting it close is when it starts to be like 2 months of food, and you're basically just like stretching out your food through winter into like fall when you harvest. That's when you like know you've got to adjust your food. So I think for now I think I'll focus yeah, so essentially now the focus will be tier 2. In order to do that, we basically just need to build a market, I actually don't need to build more houses. We'll probably get some immigrants. So yeah, just build a market and then build a sawmill for planks. And I think that's what I will focus on for the next vid. So thanks for dropping by. This is a brand new channel. I'm brand new at streaming and content creating. I'm over on Twitch. Same Twitch name, HoochActually. So appreciate it if you drop a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Head on over to Twitch. I'm doing this live. I do more variety also. This just happens to be a day where this game got a decent patch, so that's why it happens to be the first one I'm uploading and the first one I'm tackling. But I play pretty much everything that I think would be interesting. So yeah, much appreciated. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you on the next upload, which will probably drop honestly same day or next day. But yeah, thanks a lot.